How many times have you heard that women make 73 cents to every dollar that men make for the same work? That black women earn 64 cents to a man's dollar? Or that a woman from Mexico gets just 53 cents to the dollar? The sheer variety of videos and articles tackling this issue, and at last count it was something like 11 billion, is staggering. And the amount of facts touted total more than every dollar that both sexes earn combined. It's enough to overwhelm you. The internet, trustworthy as it may be, cites an absolutely astonishing variety of gender pay gap truths. In fact, there's so much data out there that you can pick from what you like to make any point that you want. There are so many different numbers out there that mathematically most of them have to be incorrect. All these numbers have been the driving cause and headlining topic of equality marches, blogs, Tumblrs, and whining YouTube channels. Angry, frustrated women, and the occasional man at marches, shaking signs and yelling, carrying on about pay gap injustice. Now don't misunderstand me here, I'm not belittling people who take a stand. This absolutely should be going on if women are being paid 53 and 64 and 77 cents to do the same job that I make $1 to do. All these damning numbers bothered me, a lot. As a woman, you shouldn't make less than a man, simply because of your genitalia. I mean, that's just not practical. It's 2017 for crying out loud. We're elite now. We pay $3 for bottled water from Starbucks. We can take out Jihadi John with a drone strike by identifying his retina from a satellite in space. There are Republicans that get their talking points from and are even proud to be represented by a flamboyant gay man with a lot of flair who brags about how all his boyfriends are black. The guy's openly accepted, even fiercely defended by some of them. Not just his politics, but his gayness. Times are changing. You can tell people, with a serious face, that today you identify as a non-binary wood elf who is attracted to legs, and I mean chair legs, and then the next day as a hetero but bi-curious tween girl in a middle-aged man's body, and they won't condemn you, even if it's only from the fear of losing their career. We live in 2017, man. We're super sophisticated and accepting and tolerant of any and everything. We defend the wood elves. Even more frustrating is all the conflicting information. The argument that the gender wage gap isn't reality. That the wage gap is 96 cents to the dollar, that it's 94 cents to the dollar, that it's at its worst on full moon days, and on and on and on. Seeing all the conflicting data got me thinking, what's the legitimate truth? I mean, if one desires actual, lasting enlightenment, then truth is the path to that empowerment. Irrespective of all these waves of agenda, the truth lies somewhere, yeah? So how is this one injustice so prevalent? In the America where gay-hating Republicans defend super gay Milo, how is this even a thing? Well, I tried to figure out the truth, the not debatable, factual truth, the only absolute and sure way I knew I could be 100% accurate, with real life. My life, to be exact. I know.
You're fucking a white male! So? You're a white man!
Just bear with me here. By the end, I think you'll see my point. While not scientific, and just look how well that's worked out with all the varying points of contention on the topic, I took a look at my own real-life work experiences in every job that I've ever held where I've worked with a female counterpart. No one can label it as slanted because it's only a retelling of information. There are simply no facts to skew this way. No idiotic, panicked, fear-mongering liberal slant. No hate-filled, repressive, conservative push. It's just real-life experience that I have no choice but to trust because it's an account of raw, first-hand, real-life job experience. Anyway, here are some of the fields I've personally worked in. Now, I understand that the jobs I've worked aren't common, so as you hear these jobs, ask yourself what overall percentage of the workforce these jobs might make up. Okay, here's a brief list, and you can raise your hand if you've ever heard of any of them. I've worked at fast food jobs. I've worked warehouse jobs. I've worked office jobs. I've worked union jobs. I've worked at hospitals. I've worked labor jobs. I've worked at lumber mills. I've worked retail sales. I've worked service jobs, driving jobs, moving jobs, landscape jobs, and temporary jobs. Agricultural jobs, short-time carnival jobs, management jobs, skilled labor jobs. You get the point. I've worked some jobs. At each of these jobs, I found that the gender pay gap was the same, consistently. Always zero. The gender wage gap didn't exist. Not even a few cents. Not 1 penny difference in pay. But white man with the white man privilege. Your experience is based on your white privilege card. You made more than them. Well, sorry to disappoint you, but black women and Hispanic women and even white women have been employed right alongside me the whole time. And if you don't think everyone knew what everyone else made at all of my jobs, you've never worked any of those jobs. Walmart, awful as they are, but that's an entirely different video, employs roughly 1.4 million people. That's about 1% of the workforce in America. Walmart, greedy, stingy, intimidate you if you need a sick day Walmart, pays women the exact wage they pay men. And not just white privileged women, even the black ones. Understand this, if women made less than men, you would only see women at Walmart. This is not debatable on any level even if you're a wood elf. Don't try it because you'll just look dumb defending Walmart's good-hearted nature, as that's what's required if you believe there's a gender wage gap. You'd have to argue that Walmart just wants to be cool to its employees, so they pay both sexes the same. Clearly a ridiculous concept. Walmart is heartless. Being heartless doesn't only apply to Walmart, though. It's how you run a successful large business. It's how you compete. Apple ousted its creator in the name of profit. They sent Steve Jobs, the founder of the company, packing. Beat it. All global businesses have the same exact bottom line. They all worship the same God, the almighty dollar. If you think Apple or Costco or Amazon or McDonald's wouldn't solely hire employees that they could pay less, you are absolutely delusional. I've read shareholder letters where the corporation was pleased to announce, and that's a direct quote, pleased to announce layoffs because it made money for the shareholders. Corporations are cutthroat to the very marrow of the bone. They will carve your heart out with a butter knife to save a nickel. And then they'll pop bottles to it. Not an opinion, reality. Pure and simple and easy to understand, the ease of digestion aside. But I'm all ears if you want to argue the virtues of corporations. Jeopardy time. He signed into federal law the Equal Pay Act of 1963.
Who the hell is John F. Kennedy?
That's right. And because of that, there are severe ramifications should that federal law be broken. Here's a question. Why isn't the Supreme Court stop this madness? They're so powerful that they can legislate from the bench, make actual laws without the approval of Congress. You violate the Pay Act, there should be a Supreme Court case. Other than that pesky sheet club they made, and trying to keep slavery legal, Democrats are the defenders of the common man. At least that's what they tell me, every day. How has the Supreme Court, with a Marshall, Sotomayor, Kagan, and Ginsburg, not found the time or urgency to fix this? Look, I don't dispute, even for a moment, that promotional opportunity is a real and ongoing issue. I believe that it is. I also acknowledge that CEOs can make more being male than female, but am I to believe that the common people are out there fighting for the poor CEOs? Now, there are documented actual examples of real gender pay gaps, and what we need is for someone to take a stand and speak out on that. I found one such gap where the male employees averaged a $291,000 a year salary to the female employees' $210,000 a year salary for the same position in the same company, and that's a staggering $81,000 difference. Oops, bad example? Yeah, facts are stubborn things. Anyway, this video isn't about sexist bullying and salary expectation interviews, or making a point about how some women are meek compared to their counterparts and accepted less pay when asked how much they want. It's not addressing those who make the case that you have to figure in maternity leave to get the 64-cent number, and you can find any number of videos that dissect all that. This isn't about any of that. This is about how pretend numbers like 64 cents for girls and $1 for boys and financial rape for girls and a life of making it rain for boys ignites people's need for justice and fairness and all sorts of virtuous things. And ignited people run with ideas, even if they're misguided. All the jobs I've worked and listed today make up the majority of the workforce in America. Just union jobs make up 11.1% of the total workforce, and that was one example of jobs I've held. Matter of fact, if you work at a union job where women make less than men, stop paying your dues today, because your union is failing to do the only thing you pay them for. But you won't do that, because that doesn't happen. Are there exceptions to the rule? Absolutely. Does it match the hyperventilating, foaming at the mouth absurdity we see preached? Not even a little bit. Does a gender pay gap exist for the vast, and I mean vast majority of the American workforce? Nope. Sorry. Real life just isn't as dramatic as some folks would like. When I ran the idea for this video by someone, they said I was anti-feminist. Another person said, "Oh, you're going to attack women, huh?" They made my decision easy. In fact, I was more driven. If reality is anti-feminist, sign me up right now. Feminism can be awesome. Not being truthful can't be feminism if feminism is to have any power. Just look at the joke that is Anita Sarkeesian. Expertly and factually dismantled by literally thousands of videos on YouTube, to the point where she proposed to the UN that people should essentially be banished from the internet that have told her she sucks and is a liar. She does, and she absolutely is, by the way. The dismantling of Anita is what happens when you don't have truth on your side. If you start touting narratives that are easy to rip apart with facts, your movement becomes a joke and you get exposed, whatever that movement might be.